Version 3 of Bolt Action saw not just a whole new rule set, but also a brand new army builder from Warlord. Let's take a look at it and see if it's for newbies. Welcome to the Dice Gods, my name is Hydra, and today we are looking at this bad boy, the Warlord Games App. Now, first of all, quick shout out to our members and patrons. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, and thank you to the mighty Joe Rogers for his continued support. If you want to see us do more stuff, especially with regards to Bolt Action, do please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, maybe becoming a member of the channel or joining our Patreon. This costs less than a cup of coffee and helps us immensely and lets me do more stuff. So, this is the web version of the Warlord Games app. When version 3 was announced, shortly after, in fact on the 27th of September, this app was launched. As you can see on screen now, it wasn't just for Bolt Action, we've got Black Seas and Blood Red Skies in here too, but I'm only going to talk about Bolt Action for today. When this dropped, one of the big things that caused a degree of concern was that this is a chargeable app. Now, I'm going to talk about this app specifically, but there are other free apps out there, and what I want to do is talk about my experience with this app and discuss whether actually it's worth the £21.89 that it costs for a year, or I think it's about €25. Now, yes, you do get a store voucher that you can spend with Warlord if you buy that annual subscription, so you end up paying about £11–12. I don't know whether that will continue indefinitely, but that's certainly the case when it launched. I did that. I signed up for the year straight away. I was like, right, if we're doing this, we're going. I'm doing everything Bolt Action from Warlord Games, from the miniatures all the way through. So that said, I have used free app builders before. That's something that I've done. So we have some insight onto that one, but we're going to talk about this first of all. So let's open the list builder and look at my shameful volume of lists. Yeah, we've been playing a lot with this. We really have been. This army builder, the great thing about this is this comes with all of the nations. As you can see here, these are all the nations that have rules available for them currently in Bolt Action. We have the ability to build lists out of the box, boom, straight away, which is a really nice thing. On day one, this was ready to go, and it worked. Now, there have been issues with this. There have been problems with the app. There have been bugs and bits and pieces. And what's been really interesting from my perspective is you see those reported, and it's kind of like within 24 hours they fixed it. And that really works for me. I really like that. The problem with free apps, it's not a criticism, but the reality is these are normally done by one or two people doing it in their spare time, and that makes it really hard to respond to serious issues. They need to, outside of their work time, invest time to find any issues that are coming up. Let's open a German list. I'm going to call it Germany. So they are not as ready and able as a team who are being paid to look after this are, and I've been really impressed by the speed at which things have been resolved, but also the speed at which things have been added. Now, the great thing is, as I say, on day one, this launched with all of those armies that you just saw, and crucially, those were out of the books, out of the new version 3 rulebook, and out of the sort of, I can't remember what the term was, but the small army PDF that they released. So they were all in here bang day one. We are in the midst of Armies of Germany's launch. So that is the expanded, or the army-specific book that is dropping from Warlord at the moment, which builds on those armies inside of the main rulebook and adds lots of new stuff. Armies of Germany was added for the annual subscribers a couple of weeks back. So we've had it in here for a while. We didn't have to wait for the books to turn up. My book has turned up. It is here. We will be talking about that at some point. But they were all included. As bang, ahead of the arrival of the book, before its release, we had all of the stats, and crucially, this isn't just, let's pop someone open, this isn't just I'm a huge Stug fan, so we're going to do these guys. This isn't just their stats. So we have the stats here. We have a bit of story at the top there. But you also have special rules. So all of the special rules that are contained within the book have been in here for several weeks. This is amazing. To me, this is absolutely brilliant. This in itself is worth the subscription. So as these armies of books drop, I don't need to buy them. They're going to be in here automatically ahead of launch. As you can see, I'm throwing around this at the moment. I'm throwing around this army builder. I've been using it quite a lot. So when you open one of these new armies, you will have a rifle platoon at the top. If you know anything about bot action, it is compulsory that you have to have a rifle platoon, and that rifle platoon has to have a platoon commander and 2 infantry squads in it, which it tells you here. We've got the red lights up. We're not there yet. We're not ready to go yet. We also have the information at the top of the screen here. Platoon 1 does not meet all of the unit requirements. This validates itself as it goes along. This is really, really good. It stops me making stupid decisions. So how do we actually put stuff together? Well, this is, as I say, this is in Armies of Germany, so we've got a lot more stuff here than if you've just got the book, the version 3 book, rule book, you'll have. So we're just going to add an officer in. So this, I've just hit the officer, I've added one in. This EML refers to whether these particular squads are available in early, mid or late war. We have his cost up the top here. Open him up. Fluff. His weapon, who he is, his experience. Now, if you're not familiar with experience, experience defines what the morale of your troops are like and how easily they are wounded. So with experienced troopers, they are wounded on a 3. With regular troopers, they're wounded on a 4. And with veterans, they're wounded on a 5. There are other buffs that go into this. Now's not the time, but you can select your quality of troop here, which increases the price. We can then add all of the different special rules and options here. And as you see, I've got show invalid options here because it's not showing stuff that I can't currently have. I can turn it on, turn it off. But this is all of the valid options I have for my platoon commander. If I turn it into a veteran, Fallschirmjäger are always veterans, so suddenly I can add Fallschirmjäger and I can add in these guys. Bergsjäger. That's probably said it terribly wrong. We'll get through it together, it'll be fine. I'm going to stick him with a regular for the time being. So then I can give him additional men to follow him around and make sure he doesn't die, which is really useful. And I can kit them out as I see fit. And I can give them intelligence training, which is, yeah, it's a thing. If I actually hit that, so I've just turned it on, you see it's gone green. You'll see under special rules, I now have intelligence training, and I can read exactly what that does. If I turn that off, it's gone. Just works. So I'm going to give him an SMG, which now costs 4 points. If you are building your German forces out of the book at the moment, the weapons used to be free for the officers, but they're not anymore, so it's just the world we live in now. We hit back at the top, and that takes me back to my selections. Now these, we're still in our compulsory option. These are all of the different types of infantry squad that I can take as part of an infantry platoon. So I am just going to stick in a couple of here grenadier squads because they make me happy. I've just hit my compulsory requirement for infantry, for an infantry platoon, which is why all of the options disappeared. As soon as I got to two of infantry squads, the other options vanished because I've met my obligation. Again, I can open this up. I can see what weapons they've got. I can see at the top here, 1 NCO and 4 soldiers. I think this is the page number. Yeah, this tells you the page number where you can find them. Armies of Germany, page 29. We can add additional troops in here, we can add the different weaponry, and crucially it says at the bottom how many of each you can have. So I'm a little bit of a sucker for an assault rifle. If I run a full 10-man squad of here veteran grenadiers, everybody can in fact get an assault rifle. So that's how we add the weapons, just hit the plus and the minus, then okay. And now we have 10 soldiers with assault rifles, because I don't like having happy enemies. And we can then add in Panzerfaust if we want to give some AT options, or the anti-tank grenades if we so see fit. That is how you put your infantry squads together. It really is that simple and that customizable. Again, this is a different squad, so because I put 2 in there, I have the one that I've just modded for 190 points, and this one is still bare bones at 65 points. Hit this button, open it up. Here we go. So, yeah, you can build these out as you see fit. Another common build at the moment seems to be 2 light machine guns and a bunch of rifles. Just like that, because firing 5 shots by 2 is a lot of fun. 108 points of death and dagger and destruction. So, that's the basics of using it. The other options that we have in here, so if I go back, those are my required options. They're now full, everything is green across the board, we are happy. I can add additional units, which as you'll see is 0 to 2 additional infantry squads, a medic in his various forms, a forward observer, sniper teams, anti-tank options, light mortar options, and then a whole bunch of transport vehicle options. Again, these work in the same way. If I want to add myself a Hanomag, because, you know, of course I do. Here, Grenadiers, they need their transport. This works in the same way. I can open it up. I have all of my special rules at the top here. I can change his experience level, and then I can add, he's got a pintle-mounted medium machine gun covering the front arc. I can add a second one at the back if I so see fit. These manual points adjustments are, as the name implies, if you need to add a manual points mod. This is things like, I'm supposed to go to a tournament in a couple of weeks. Can't make it. I'm not making it because I wasn't quite ready. But they had special points in there for medics, special rules in there for medics. So you could use this to modify the points of your medics. You won't play with that for the most part. But you see here, we have our Hanomag with pintle-mounted medium machine gun, 72 points. All the different options. Let's go back from here. So this is how my rifle platoon, infantry platoon, I will always call it infantry platoon as long as I play this game. I don't know why, that's just me. So this rifle platoon now has a platoon commander, 2 squads of here veteran grenadiers, and a Hanomag. We have 4 dice, and we're at 404 points in total on the top left there. That's nice and easy to see. So we go back one. This is how my entire roster, my entire force is looking. What if I want to add something else? Add platoon. I can add all the different types of platoon, armoured, artillery, engineer, heavy weapons, recce, etc. Or another rifle platoon if I just can't get enough of painting infantry. I'm going to add an armoured platoon because it's important. Again, this opens up that platoon. If I click back here, it will show me the roster. I've still got my rifle platoon at the top there, and my armoured platoon now has the red dot because it's not quite there yet. And I can open this up, and I can select what I want to run. All the different options. So many different options. Right. So we're going to put Panzer IV in here as my command vehicle. Now, one vehicle has to be a command vehicle in a armoured formation, and it's automatically added to whichever one you add first. Make your command vehicle whoever is your heaviest hitter, because they get a buff for rerolls of morale from memory. I think that's right. So it's worth making sure picking the toughest one first. But then again, I've got my different options. I can run through. I'm going to do Panzer IV-J, make him regular, and give him Scherzen, because for the aesthetic, boys. 245 points, and then a Panther because I like spending points. Regular, and give him a pin-mounted MMG. He now has all of the guns known to man. And we go back. And we go back. We can then add to this platoon another up to 3 vehicles. Now, if we look in the top left, we have 962 points. A standard game at the moment seems to be 1250, 1250. So we do still have plenty of stuff left. There's enough space here for a shtick, if I see fit. But if we go back, I'm nearly at 1,000 points. I've got 6 orders. I've got my 2 platoons. I can continue to add more platoons as I see fit, different options, etc., just to build my roster out. And you can tinker around with this. When you are done, you may export this as a PDF. Let's see. Now, crucially, when you do that PDF, you can select, actually let's open them up again, you can select font size and the type of special rules. Just going to put on the screen now how these PDFs look, just so you get an idea. As you can see, this one had the most basic version of the special rules in there, which is absolutely fine. It's entirely up to you. Depends how well you know the rules as to whether you want them all there or not. We can also, from here, hit the cog and duplicate this force. We can share this force, export it as we did before, and we can hit sync data because this online version syncs with the version on my phone, and it's pretty much instantaneous. I can pull that data back at any point that I see fit, which is really great. I can tinker around with both, share them between each other, and it's just one single account that this is all shared across, which is really heckin' useful, and I really like it very much. Now, that is the German version of this platform, which is great. It is fantastic. It's got the armies of stuff in there. If there is one downside, it would be this. I'm just going to open up one of my Great British books. Now, if you see here, underneath Great Britain, which is the name I've given this one, it's got Bolt Action Rulebook version 3. So it tells you where these are sourced from. If I scroll down, these are all armies of Germany. So as the new book comes out, you'll be able to see where they're from. Now, the old lists that are still from Bolt Action Rulebook version 3 still work and are still the same as they were before Armies of Germany dropped, which is also really nice. So if you have a list that you really like, you can still have it and use it. It's not going to get updated and mangled when Armies of comes out. However, just want to open this British one for a second. This runs in exactly the same way. So if I open a rifle platoon, we have an infantry section because English, don't you know, we don't have the same names as Germans, have it differently. So they are called an infantry section, which is accurate and historical, but it runs in the same way. We can mod them the same way and do the same stuff, which is fab. Up to here, 16 order dice as you've seen before. However, this is possibly one of the downsides of a newbie's experience of using this, and actually to an extent the rulebook as well. There is a metric ton of assumed knowledge with this stuff, and it does make it quite difficult. This is one specific issue that I had. Let's open this up. So, these are all of the options for an artillery platoon that I can take. I want to take a 25-pounder. I don't know which one of those a 25-pounder is. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge. I don't have a core knowledge, actually, if I'm honest, of the British Army during the Second World War. Should I? No. This is the first time in my adult life this has been relevant. So no, I shouldn't have this knowledge. I don't have it. And this way that this information is structured makes it a bit of a pain in the butt. I found out they're howitzers, and when you open it up, you can add, there you go. So we have a light howitzer with the 25-pounder AT shells. This is now a 25-pounder. I found this out because somebody was talking about it, about them being under the howitzer option. Oh, that's exciting. Had no possible way of knowing that. That was also my experience with the armies in the V3 rulebook. There were quite a few things that I was like, okay, I want this guy. Panzer 470. That was it. I wanted a Panzer 470. The Panzer 470 was not in the list. It wasn't. And wherever I looked, I couldn't find it. I gave up in the end. I got another Stug, I think, because I was like, oh, shall I run one of those? Don't run a Panzer 470 because they're fun. Instead, I got another Stug, which should always be the answer. Now, interestingly, what I found was when armies of Germany dropped, because these guys had the same issue, suddenly it's all split out. Pretty much. I mean, we've got heavy, light, medium infantry, but for the most part, they split out the different options into different options, you know? Like I have a pair of Pack 40s because Pack 40s, yay. They were, I can't remember where they were previously. I think they were in AT guns, but you had to go through various, it wasn't intuitive. So if you are a new player, be mindful that if there isn't an Armies of book out yet, you may need to ask the community, and they will happily help, but you may need to ask the community where you find your Panzer 470. Crucially, if I open this guy up, I think that the Panzer 4, yeah, Panzer 4, there you go. Now he has his own option. There's the L70 gun. Suddenly it's a lot easier. So if you are new, just bear in mind, it might be a little bit of a learning curve until the new books start dropping, which they are this year and up to the end of the year. We just had armies of Soviet Republic, whatever it is. They got announced like yesterday. So they're all going to be coming soon. They're all coming out in the coming months. The Americans drop soon, so that was going to be an issue that disappears. Overall, I would say that I learnt to use this army builder incredibly quickly and have found it an absolute pleasure to play with. I mean, you can see this is not all of the list. There are so many that have been deleted. I pity their poor servers because I was taking stuff off and adding them on and all the rest of it. Here's my demo list for newbies. I found it really easy to work with. I found that it works and the information is solid. And when there are any issues, they're fixed incredibly fast. And yeah, overall, I've just been really impressed with the quality of this. Is it worth €25, so just over €2 a month? Yeah, actually it is. I would say that. The second the armies of Germany dropped in, I was all over it like a rash. The hype machine was real. I've got the book. I'm looking forward to reading the book. It's a birthday gift from my from Lilith, my wife. So I'm looking forward to getting my paws on that and looking through all the pretty stuff in that. But actually, I have read most of the rules. I know most of what's in there. I've tinkered with it. I've started building lists, and that is phenomenal. So much hype, so much excitement about that. The fact you can duplicate lists, the fact you can export as a PDF, the fact that this just works, just reliably works. I can't fault it. I would say if you are a new player and you are coming in to bolt action for the first time, it's definitely worth putting that €25 aside for one of these for a year because it's so handy and it's so functional. I really can't fault it. This little button here, that says import with a code, which is amazing. And this one lets me refresh. So if I add something on my phone and then it'll appear here like poof. It just works. As I say, I know there are free versions out there, and if you don't want to spend the money on these things, then fair enough. But I would say this is a good example of why spending money on apps is understandable. We have a good quality, usable, interesting, updated, reliable app here that gets information quicker than anything else. And as a gamer, that's what I want. So I would say congratulations to the guys at Warlord. They've done a good job. And also to the development team whose name's temporarily going to escape me, Malaric. Seriously impressive, guys. Very, very impressive. So, if you don't use the Warlord app, put in the comments which ones you do use and what they could do to change your mind to use a chargeable one. What would encourage you to pay for the app development for the services you use? Why don't you? What's the issue? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always intrigued. If you do use this app, what's your experience been? And if you are a newbie, how are you getting on with bolt action so far with version 3? I'm having a ball. But let me know how you're finding it and what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.